So welcome to this new episode of Global Beehive Meet the Experts. And it is my pleasure to introduce Andrew Kallman, our latest expert here on Global Beehive, the Global Beehive community. And it is a really excellent pleasure to have you with us because it's not many people who got 2 Amazon bestsellers out there, and you're one of the few I know who actually have done that. So it's a big pleasure to having you on board here, and I would like you to just give us the short introduction of who are you and a little bit about your background.
Cool. Thanks, Hans. Thanks, Mario. It's really great to be here with you guys today. Good to see you all again. My name's Andrew Kallman, as Hans mentioned, and yeah, I've actually written a couple books, and they performed relatively well on Amazon. And so it is a little unusual to have achieved that. I actually know one person in our Flow community, he's done 3. And so I aspire to maybe try to achieve his level. And so, but he actually had number one bestsellers, not just bestseller in a category. And so I've been working with Flow for 25 years. As I look back, I'm just like going, wow, this is amazing. And Flow is a leadership framework. It's like an umbrella that sits above all the different methodologies we use at the team, product, and program level to deliver products out there to the world. And so as one of our Flow certified trainers in Stockholm, where Hans comes from, actually said, Johan said, yeah, Flow's the thing that helps all of these different methodologies play nice together. And so that's sort of the concept of what we've been working with. And so I've been doing Flow training now for 6 years, where we've been actually offering certifications. So we have Flow certified professional, coach, and trainer levels. And yeah, we're going to have some more questions about this as we go along. Let's see, I've been around for a long time. I'm married to the same woman for 37 years. Here in Finland, there's no time off for good behavior. And and so I have 3 grown children. They're all married, and I have 3 grandchildren with another one on the way.
Excellent. I mean, this is very impressive background. I mean, if you would describe Flow in like 3 sentences, what is it? What is sort of the purpose or the essence of that?
Flow helps companies basically step into or enter into a sustainable state of flow. It actually goes back to Dr. Csikszentmihalyi. Sorry, Mihai, I'm probably slaughtering your name. He was the professor at university there in Chicago that did the studies on flow back in the 70s. And he talked about individual flow and team flow. And his book, I actually found out about it from one of the professional basketball players that did their doctorate work in my dad's courtroom. And so I found out about this from Dr. Tucker. I learned about flow when I was in high school and college. So actually I've been using flow for a long time. But our flow, Dr. Csikszentmihalyi, he looked at individual and team level. What does it take to get into flow there? And Daniel Pink, with his book Drive, he gets into flow in the team area. Don Reinertsen gets into product development flow for the product. And our book Flow pulls all the other boxes together. And so it really helps you deliver on the promise of any of the methodologies that you're trying to use in frameworks. It actually helps you succeed better. So that's probably more than 3 sentences. Sorry.
A little bit more, but I think that was very descriptive. I mean, I think that it really shows the importance of this and the academic background to the whole the framework. And what I understand it is that you use the flow framework very much in project management or program management, or even in sales.
Portfolio.
Yeah, leading
right
agile.
to the C-suite.
Yeah. Can you just name a few examples of where you have actually used Flow?
Oh my, that's a long list.
Yeah,
Uh,
take a recent one that you.
Your
uh,
favorite. Your
when,
favorite.
well, one of my favorites is actually Nature Publishing Group. So
Yeah.
anyone who's been published in Nature magazine or Nature Journal,
Mm.
usually those types of people get Nobel Prizes. And so uh, that was one of the places where I was able to use Flow in its entirety for over 200 and bringing 250 people together and actually helping them get better and better and better at what they were doing. So that for me, that was a really fun one. And but even there in Sweden recently, from about 2016 to about 2018, for a couple of years, I worked with AI teams. And that was a riot too, because even there, we could take the teams that, let's say in the beginning, it took 8 people on the team, 8 months, or 7.5 people really, but we'll say 8 people, 8 months. We got it down to 2.5 people could deliver it in 4 months. The exact same chatbot for AI, or digital assistant, whatever you want to call it. And for the 8-person team that took 8 months, that was like a 12 million crown, Swedish crown project. By the time we were done, we had the price down to about 1.2 million crowns. So we were able to get 6 times the productivity and drop the cost by about 90%. So that was a fun one.
Yeah,
So
I mean that's amazing benefits. I mean, what you're talking about, in delivering a product to 1/10 of the costs, and also
yeah,
no so much shorter time period. It's really amazing. And I
Amazing.
mean,
Yeah.
what I recognize, I mean, knowing Flow a little bit, is that really emphasizing on collaboration and getting
yeah.
the right expectation and vision in there, the softer
Yes.
aspects, rather than focusing the core processes and tools.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's
And
it's it's not just the tool set, it's the mindset and
It's a
pulling
mind.
all that transformation together and at the same time rolling it out and keeping the governance going.
Yeah,
It's not a
definitely.
problem.
Yeah,
It's simple, it's just not easy.
yeah.
and how about the effect at individual level when you talk about mindset? Because because I read Mikhail's book, so
Chick-checks
love it.
high. Yeah.
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 And
That's one of the hardest ones I've ever seen.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
he describes the state of flow when you're working on something, you're totally inspired, into it, and
Hmm.
focus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Time passes by without you noticing it.
Yep.
So, have you seen this effect at individual level when you apply your kind of flow onto organizations?
Yeah, because we're not out there to rewrite what Dr. Mihai had done. We're leveraging his work. And what's really fun at the team level, let's say you have on a basketball team, you've got 5 people. You need 2 people to step into flow
Mm.
in order
Okay.
to take the whole team with. And the same thing applies in business. So it's sort of proportional there. And so if you have a 10-person team, you better have 4 people that can step into that effortless state of frictionless swing, as the people who do the rowing would call, they would call it swing, where it's just effortless and the boat's gliding through the water with no friction. That is flow. And
Mm.
to get the individuals into flow, it's a lot of work. And so it's typically working with high caliber people who already are pursuing excellence,
Mm.
that they step into flow themselves. And if they can get 1 or 2 team members with them, everybody goes with. And the great thing is, you don't have to have everybody with to double your throughput.
Mm.
You don't have to have all your teams with. You don't have to have all your people with. You only need a certain critical mass with.
Mm.
And when they step into flow, the effects on the organization are immediate and visible and tangible.
Mm. If we continue this discussion a little bit, and many of our viewers are executives and
Yeah.
in different companies, and for many of them have been struggling quite a lot in getting the value of the benefits of projects, and getting the business benefits and also the effects of, for example, implementing SAFe. What would you say to this executive as being the sort of the biggest challenges for them in fostering the right sort of atmosphere?
When you say SAFe, I can immediately go to there and say it's a great tool set. It's a great framework, as long as everyone does the hard work in parallel for the mindset.
Yeah.
And we had teams last year where we were on a project with a very large German manufacturer everybody would recognize. But anyways, we worked with some of their teams. And one of the teams finally had the retrospective with the head of the division. And as he was listening to the team members talk, one of the team members said, "This is the best thing I've ever done in my life. This team I'm working with is more important than my department. When I see these people in the hall, we talk to each other. We just don't pass each other and say hi. They're more important now than the people in my division. And I would basically throw myself under the bus for my team members." And when that executive heard that, the very next day, he has the next 3 people in the food chain in his division in our team room asking us, "What did you do? How did you do that? How did you create a team with that kind of rabid loyalty to each other?" And he was so blown away. The executive was like, "I want that on every one of my teams." It doesn't matter what your methodology is. When you have a team that is that loyal to each other, they're going to deliver just outstanding results and outcomes. And that's what every executive wants, I would think.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree here, because I mean, often when we talk about digital transformation, we try to emphasize that this is really a people transformation, and talking about leadership and culture being the main components of this kind of transformation itself. It's so easy to say this is about technology or processes, but it's something different.
It's all about people.
And I think that you usually mentioned the Gallup survey, about 14% of the workforce is engaged at work, and that is sort of what we're struggling against. And I mean, the more digital companies have maybe engagement level 90%, so it's really a battle of engagement in this.
It's flipping the numbers around, and it takes time to do that, but it's all about the people and the mindset. Yep, you got it.
Definitely. If you would talk about flow a little bit and what you've seen in project management and program management and even SAFe, and if you would extrapolate that into the future, I mean, what would you say? Well, where are we in like 3 or 5 years' time?
Hopefully in 3 to 5 years' time, flow will be as well known as SAFe. Because flow is that missing ingredient on the leadership side, on the mindset side. It plugs all the gaps that are there in every other one of the frameworks. That doesn't mean flow's perfect, but the results that you get out of it are pretty astounding. We had a CIO attend the training with Ted and I back in I think it was 2015 or 2014, 2015. And Jay never told us that his teams were already doing Agile. They were either doing Scrum or Kanban or XP or whatever. He had a whole bunch of development teams as the CIO. He had a lot of people to coordinate. I think he had around 180 in his group. And he went back after the flow training. Now these guys had already been using Agile for 1, 2, 3 years. They were good. He went back, and in 90 days, by applying all the principles of flow to what they were doing, he got in 90 days a 300% increase with his teams. And as an executive, he's just like going, "This is awesome." And what's really interesting is Jay also uses SAFe. And he also saw that increase roll up into the program level and into the portfolio level. And all his executive counterparts are like, what did you do? How did you pull that off? Because they were just blown away by the results. And what's really good about that is it shows it's not just Ted or Andrew or Hans or Mario who can deliver these kinds of results. It's people walking in cold off the street, never having seen flow before, doing the training, coming through, having just a little bit of coaching and mentoring, and getting 300% higher, already doing agile. I was just like, mercy.
I mean,
That
that's a
just,
fantastic story. I mean,
yeah,
what I hope for the next 3 to 5 years is that people, especially executive, will actually
yeah,
understand their own role and the
yeah,
leadership and cultural role in
yeah,
in building the sort of competitiveness in this,
yeah,
and not only leaving it someone delegated to someone else to solve, but actually seeing their own role in this, and that will probably
yeah.
have a huge impact. If you would, if you're sitting with an executive and who are thinking about starting up some big program or implementing SAFe or whatever, what 3 advice would you give to them
Train, coach,
concretely?
and mentor. Train, coach, and mentor. Train, coach, and mentor. And it's iterative. It
Mm,
takes time. They better be prepared for I don't know, 1.5 to 2.5 year journey
mm,
to get those teams up the curve.
mm,
If they're not prepared to do that, then they're basically, the investment that they're doing in a scaled agile environment won't give them back
mm,
what they thought they were going to get.
mm,
You have to do both in parallel. Just had a client last week that I was chatting with, and they were like, "Oh, no, we just want to focus on the team level, and we just want to get these coaches working well." And I'm like, "Ooh, um, well, there's 4 boxes that you have to transform: the
mm,
individuals, the teams, the products, programs, processes, line management, and then the portfolio and organization. And you can't touch one box without touching the other 3.
mm,
And so it's the transformation formula. In order to succeed, you have to have the right vision, the right people, use the 4D model, and hopefully you can get enough people and teams into flow
mm,
to be able to deliver that return on investment that they're expecting for the big investment that they're
mm,
making in SAFe, because that's a really big investment. So uh, from that perspective, for me, I'm looking at this that they really have to be within the journey. So
mm,
if the executives aren't with, it makes it really hard. So I had figured this out about back there in about 2010, so that when I joined Nature Publishing Group, I met with the CTO, the COO, 2 board members, and the CEO, and I told them, "Look, we can do this for you, but you have to be within the journey. You have to have skin in the game. If you're not with, it's not going to work, and I won't show up."
mm.
And
No,
so
yeah.
they agreed, and I'm like, cool.
Great. But interpret a little bit that what you're saying is that the 3 main ingredients is somehow
Train,
patience, that
coach,
it
and
will,
mentor.
yeah, but the patience, it will take time to do this. It's not something we
Hmm.
do, the next month to
Over
get
and over and over. Yeah,
over and over again. And the second one is not only focused on team, but this is the whole the
yeah,
team, the individual, the
yeah,
organization and product. And the third, I think, that you mentioned, I think was brilliant, is also the involvement of the top leadership, showing
yeah.
the
Those
skills,
3
being
are
being.
absolutely key.
Mm.
Yeah,
So I think, I mean, this really shows the importance of that this is not really operational thing, but really a leadership role. That's
yeah, and it goes right to the heart of the culture.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
All right. So
How would
train,
how, yeah,
and mentor, right?
yep,
yeah,
Train, coach, and mentor.
yeah.
For,
yeah.
for those out there that would be interested in learning flow, yeah. What would you say would make for a good flow coach and a good flow mentor?
It's somebody who has battle scars.
Mm.
It's and it's I'm not so concerned where those battle scars came from. What we do, the way we train flow is we have flow certified professional, and that's a grueling course. Hans has been through it, and I think Mario's been through it. It's not easy. I mean, that's what 18 hours of brutal training to just give you the base foundation. It gets a little easier when you get to flow coach level because we do 4 more hours of the videos and things like that, but we do a 4-hour live session. But here's where it changes. You get the chance to take and do a case study. The case study takes all the training, all the books, all the blog posts, all the quizzes, and focuses it into a way for the practitioner to be able to go, oh, it's at that point people start to get that aha moment, and they go, I get this. Oh, this makes so much sense. But it's a 22-hour journey to get them to that point, or actually a 26-hour journey to get them to that point. And when they do that and they apply that, that's when it all comes together. And so that's the pattern that I use when we're doing the training. And because of COVID, we've put it all online. It's all there basically almost for free. And so a company can continue to invest in the training of their people for a very low per person overhead, but the return on what they're going to get is pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so
Training,
much, Andrew.
battle scars, and patience.
Yeah, we are running out of time here, Andrew. I mean, I'm
Okay.
so thankful
Yeah, I
for
know.
your sharing your battle scars and your experience here,
I think I'm still
also,
bleeding.
yeah, thank you so much for joining the Global Beehive expert panel.
Yeah, I'm
And
excited
we are
about this.
yeah, and are very much looking forward to some articles from you where you share your knowledge and yeah, more about the flow. So I want to thank you, and
Thanks,
also
Hans.
Mario for stepping in here with excellent questions. And
Thanks, Mario.
see you on the platform.
Awesome. Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.